Have you heard about a power of attorney but figured, I don't need one? If anything ever happens to me, my spouse will quickly jump to the rescue and make sure that all of my affairs are taken care of. Well, if you are in Ontario, Canada, you should really consider having a power of attorney in place. And actually, there's two kinds of powers of attorney that you should look to have in place. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Pam Matani. I'm the principal lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm serving clients virtually throughout Ontario and serving specifically clients that are business owners or entrepreneurs. I've mentioned before on this channel that talking about wills and powers of attorney is like the one thing outside of what it takes to run a business explicitly. So business law, your privacy pieces, your tech pieces, things like that. The will and power of attorney is the one thing outside of all of that that we actually talk about here at Graphene. And the reason is, if you've spent so much of your life putting together, this dream business of yours that takes care of you, takes care of your family, takes care of your employees, you have so much more to protect than somebody that might have, a home, a residence, and an automobile. And on top of it, you have the successful business that you've worked so hard to put in place. So it's really a passion piece that drives us to put out content on wills and powers of attorney here at Graphene, because we as business owners ourselves really recognize the value of this little piece of life outside of, again, launching your business and growing your business and the regular business law services that we provide here at Graphene Business Law. Now, what is a power of attorney? What is that thing? It's a legal document, okay? It's a document, excuse me, it's a document that gives somebody that you trust the right and, the power, the ability to make decisions on your behalf in case you are not able to. And the circumstances in which you might not, or through which you might not be able to make a decision are many, but one that we commonly talk about in the context of power of attorney, I wish I could grant power of eternity. I can't. Power of attorney is, one where you might become incapacitated, you have some sort of accident, and your mental ability to make decisions on your behalf is impinged, and now somebody else is needed to make those rational decisions on your behalf, okay? So that's what the power of attorney does. And the person that you appoint, by the way, although of course I'm a lawyer speaking on behalf of my law firm, Graphene Business Law, the person you appoint doesn't have to be a lawyer. I would suggest that the lawyer helps you draft the document to make sure that your wishes are well articulated and that your wishes are legally adherent, right? Not every wish under the sun can be preserved under a power of attorney. I'm thinking again of power of eternity, how I wish. But not every wish can be preserved under power of attorney. So it's really important to make sure that what does matter to you, we can legally articulate, and then on top of that, well articulate, and on top of that, to the right person, the person you trust to make decisions on your behalf. There are two kinds of power of attorney out there. One is in regards to, let's call it more hard assets, so financial property that you might hold, somebody that would make decisions as regards your house, for example, your bank accounts, things of that nature, retirement accounts. And there's a personal care type of power of attorney. That kind is in regards to your health. What decisions are you authorizing somebody to make as regards where you live, in case you need to go to a special facility, or do you want to be carried out, at home for the rest of your days? Or, if you're at a hospital and you're on life support, what do you want that setting to look like? That's where we come into the conventional, pull or don't pull the plug scenario. Excuse me. People's opinions on that are varied, and everybody has the right to preserve their own opinions through their own power of attorney, okay? People you can usually ask to be powers of attorney for you, or to conduct those powers of attorney for you, can include a spouse, can include a child. If your children are of age, the person you appoint does need to be, an adult, legally an adult. It can be a good friend. It can even be, by the way, there are different circumstances in society, and that's just a fact of life. Not everybody has a spouse, not everybody has a best friend. Life takes all sorts of different tolls for what, 7-8 billion of us. It's okay that some of us don't have those persons, those individuals. And if you don't, you can actually, remember I said at the beginning, it doesn't have to be a lawyer you appoint, but you can appoint a lawyer if you'd like to be to make those decisions on your behalf in a rational, logical way, especially after you've discussed with them your wishes and you know how you'd like those wishes to be carried out. Okay, so we talked about the two different kinds: the property kind, paying bills for you, collecting money owed to you, maintaining your physical properties, maintaining your house, maintaining your car, things like that. And on the personal circumstance, it's more like the most visceral image that comes to mind is the pull the plug scenario. You know, there's medically assisted dying, there's all of these things that can become a conversation piece. What kind of treatment do you want? You know, how many practitioners do you want to make commentary on your health situation before your person that you've appointed and given that power of attorney to is able to make a decision? Some people say, you know, the first doctor you come across. Some people say the average opinion of 3 doctors. You'd be surprised what goes into these things, because it can be anything. It's your wishes, so long as they're legally inherent. Again, the person you're appointing, there's rules as to who that person should be legally, age of majority, things like that. And there's also rules as to the state you should be in when you make the power of attorney. And this is why it's really important and can't be understated that there's no bad time to make one. So long as you are, excuse me, so long as you are able to make decisions of yourself and you're functioning well as a human being, the time to make that power of attorney is always sooner than later. I have a video on this channel about wills and the importance of having a will. A power of attorney is not a will. Whenever a client comes to the office looking for a will, I always suggest to them, and only one time a client hasn't done it, and that was not the suggestion, but I always suggested them that they have a power of attorney in place. You would be really surprised how long it can take to sort things out if you're ever in that unfortunate situation yourself. You'd be really surprised at how stressed out and confused people can be during those times of panic. You'd be really surprised at what reality looks like for those persons that are in that situation. Putting a power of attorney in place helps you, you know, keep a certain standard going if that's what you're looking for. And it really helps the loved ones that, I don't want to say you're left behind, because this isn't a piece that comes into effect after you've passed. It's something that comes into effect while you're still here and, you know, unfortunately struggling in whatever capacity. But it's a really handy legal document to put in place with some very positive impacts on yourself and your loved ones. Okay, and I think I opened this video by saying that, you know, if you're thinking a spouse can just step in, that's not necessarily the case. Actually, in Ontario, it's not even possible for anybody to automatically step in and make decisions over you. And no matter how close they are to you, you know, spiritually and emotionally, no matter how close they are to you legally, so, you know, your child, your next of kin, your spouse, nobody can automatically be given that right to just step in, hit the ground. You decide for her, you decide for him. Nobody. And having some of these documents in place, I mean, helps that picture, especially again if you own or run, you know, operate a business. You've worked so hard to have that shop going. Maybe you have hopes of it being an intergenerational undertaking, so, you know, your kids continue to benefit from that, even if you're in a position where you can't make decisions, and so on and so on. So strongly recommend powers of attorney. There are a lot of free resources out there, even if you just Google, you know, power of attorney Ontario. However, if you run a business, if you know, have your own business, if you have more complex assets and undertakings, strongly suggest that you seek professional legal advice. Of course, here at Graphene Business Law, we're able to help you. That's the whole, you know, we're putting out this content to share knowledge on that matter and to help educate. And it's a passion piece for us because we totally recognize the value behind it. So you can contact us anytime. Our website is graphenebusinesslaw.ca. Our email, our firm's main email account is info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca. And thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself and what you worked so hard to build in this life. Thank you for watching.